Hey there, Janae with Palin Projects here, and in today's video, I am going to be planting up the half moon flower bed, planting it up and top dressing it with 50-50 mix. So let's get into it. So I just finished laying compost. It's a 50-50 mix. So it's 50 parts, 50% compost, 50% topsoil, and then it's mixed up. I get it from a local place here. We got 10 yards, so that's what that dirt pile is right there, is 10 yards worth of 50-50 mix. And then I layered, I took quite a few wheelbarrow or gorilla cart loads through here, dump them, and then spread them out with the rake like you just saw. So I wanted to get some plants in the ground today though, because I don't know if you can see, it doesn't really look that bad on the camera, but we're supposed to get quite a bit of rain tonight and tomorrow, and that good deep soaking is good for these bare root plants, and just for the plants in general. It's better for them to be in the ground versus in pots. So what I'm going to be planting in this bed, again, I kind of told you guys in a previous video that this is going to be a semi-formal space. I'm not going to have any boxwood hedging or anything like that here. I'm just going to try and make it balanced with the same plants. So I'm going to do 2 dwarf Russian almonds, and I'll put a picture up. Then I'm going to do 2 yucca plants, and those are native to Montana, so they're pretty hardy. I'll put a picture up of one in bloom. Very, very beautiful yucca plants. These should get what the greenhouse told me is they should get to be roughly 6 foot tall with their bloom spikes. So the foliage isn't 6 foot tall, but the bloom spikes once they mature should be 6 foot tall. And then he also told me that yuccas only bloom typically once every 6 years. If you do have a reoccurring yucca plant, it's typically a different plant, so you could actually split it off and have that as a reblooming plant as well. But typically one plant only blooms every 6 years. So I'm growing these typically for the foliage. They're beautiful spiky foliage. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not getting the bloom spikes every year. If I do, great, that's a bonus. The other plant that I'm going to be putting in here is a mugo pine. Again, I'll put a picture of a full-grown one up on here. You know, they get fairly large, and I figured a nice pine aspect would be beautiful in this bed. As a reminder, I'll flip the camera around. So this spot is going to be where we put our greenhouse, the window greenhouse. So it's actually gonna start right there. We'll have an overhang there, and then the door is gonna be about there, and then there'll be 2 sections over here. So I'm pretty excited for that. But you can see the plum trees are in, and I did have the plants lined out. Just kind of getting a feel for it. That's always a good idea, to line your plants out to make sure that they're in the spot that you want them. I actually think I'm going to flip, the dwarf Russian almond was right here. I think I'm going to flip the yucca so that the yucca is kind of like a focal point right here, and then have the dwarf Russian almond right here so that it can get big and beautiful, and then the mugos are going to go in the corner and just be kind of a corner plant. But I also have over here a beautiful, beautiful rose that I wanted to put in. So now I only have one of these roses. It's called Gold Medal. And I think it'll be beautiful in this space. But if I can, I'm going to go down to, I think I got this at Tractor Supply. And so I think I'm going to try and go down to Tractor Supply and see if there's another one there. And if not, I will just flank this other side with another type of rose maybe next year. I'm not like dead set on rushing out and buying a rose. I feel like roses are kind of an investment. They're beautiful, and I'm not really versed in them, so I just kind of want to take my time with that. But so what I was thinking is having the yuccas here, and then again the dwarf Russian almonds kind of like over here, and then I was thinking like putting the roses like right in here, or at least this rose plant. So it's kind of what I'm thinking. But this is the space. If I back up a bit, this is the space, and I'm really enjoying how it's coming together. I think we're probably going to have to true up this side maybe a little bit. I really just eyeballed this half moon, and it's not super symmetrical. I mean, it looks pretty good to the naked eye, but when I'm mapping things out and trying to get things symmetrical, it's kind of a pain in the butt because it's not symmetrical. But I don't need that necessarily to put the plants in either. Like, I'm okay with it being more informal than being like very rigid with my formality as well. So I'm going to plant up these 6 plants next and take you along for the ride. I did forget to tell you guys, I will be filling the holes with Biotone starter fertilizer. I just brought a cup of it out instead of the whole bag because we are supposed to get some rain. I'm okay with planting in the rain, but I really don't want my fertilizer to get rained on. So just a cup, and it'll go in the hole of each of these plants. Now, I'm not going to put the Biotone in the hole of the yuccas. I'm going to treat the yuccas kind of like a sedum, just because they're kind of along the same variety, or not the variety, but the same lines as being like a desert plain plant. If I need to, I can sprinkle it along the edges in the near future, but I think that'll be fine. But in the dwarf Russian almonds and the mugo and the rose, I will put it in their holes. So, look right there. They have been chirping at me all day. Isn't that fun though? We have little birdies. I'm so happy. Daddy has not been happy that I've been in this area, so I'm going to try and plant as fast as I can and get out so he can go back home. Mommy's over there. I don't know if you can see her, but she is right there on the fence post. Oh, there she goes. So let's get planting so we can get out of their way. Okay, so future me here. I'm like staring at my beautiful masterpiece after it's all done planting, and I figured I would, or that I forgot to tell you guys something. Um, the gold medal rose came in a peat pot. In some environments, those are biodegradable, and they are biodegradable, and you can stick them into the ground and they'll disintegrate. Here in my environment, we're too dry, and that would have never biodegraded or degraded into the dirt. And honestly, when I took the rose out of that peat pot, or I started to peel it away, um, the roots were tucked up into the crown of the rose. I like I just I was completely shocked. If I would have just done what the directions said on that rose and just plopped it into the ground, that rose probably would have died. It probably would have become root bound, and that's just when the roots grow and basically strangle the pot off, or the plant off, not the pot, but the plant off. And quite frankly, like with those roots growing up, they wouldn't have grown out. I don't think I don't think that peat pot would have disintegrated in time for those roots to take off. You know, you never know. I guess it could have happened, but um, I'm very thankful that I took the rose out of its peat pot, kind of fluffed the roots a little bit, made sure that they were pointing down or out, and then filled that over with some nice compost and goodies and the biotone and all of that. So I'm very thankful that I did take it out of the peat pot. And just kind of a PSA, because um, you know, even the peat pots they sell in the store for seed starting, they say those are biodegradable as well, but you have to keep them super wet in order for them to break down. And like I said, in my environment, and I've found in most environments here in the United States, aren't they're just not going to be wet enough to break those peat pots down. And so I just kind of, as a good rule of thumb, take the peat pots off before I plant. So just future me giving a little PSA as I'm staring out at my beautiful works. Okay, so everything's watered in, and I think the flower bed is looking great. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.